Oh, there we go. Live.
Hi, this is All Booked Up, and I'm Beth Hildenbrand. Tonight, our special guest is Carmen Richter. Hi, Carmen.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. I'm
Oh.
here, and I've got my little emotional support plushy pea and Richard with me too. So
Everybody needs a squeezy penis. Uh,
yes.
okay, I'm gonna back off from that one for now. More to come later.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask Carmen to tell us a little bit about herself.
All right. Oh gosh, I feel like I feel like the person in their third grade classroom where they have to go around and they're like, so I am Carmen. I am a contemporary. I'm an indie author of contemporary romance, and um, I am disabled, so I do writing as sort of something to do, first of all, and also as a side income. And I also actually edit and design. So I edit books for other people, and I design all my own covers, all my own interior formatting and everything. And I also do cover design and like logo design and stuff for other people too.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm kind of a one woman, three ring circus. But I mean, I'm disabled and I'm actually homebound. So again, it gives me something to do so I don't go stir crazy. And I am from Kansas City, and I live with my boyfriend Brett and our cat Mal. Um, for anybody who saw my picture that Beth shared when saying that I was going to be on this, I was holding a bunny. That was Marty. We had to send him over the Rainbow Bridge a few months ago, but
Oh.
I haven't had the heart to change the picture yet because I don't know. I miss him. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, we've been looking into getting another bunny, and we kind of want to because I think Mal is getting lonely.
Oh. Poor
Yeah,
fella.
yeah, it's it's weird. Like I thought he would be a lot more, like looking around for him and meowing and stuff. But I think he could tell that Marty was getting super sick. But lately, I can tell he's kind of been missing him. So we want to get another bunny. We just haven't found the right one yet.
Well,
So
I hope you do.
yeah.
I'm going to
Um,
think about that for you. Send positive vibes your way that you find the right bunny so
thank
that
you.
Mal is not lonely anymore.
Yes. But yeah, I'm kind of boring really because since I'm homebound, my entire life pretty much revolves around books, writing, editing, designing, bookish things.
Well, that it reminds me of your character in Patient 247. Uh,
Yep.
Excellent book, excellent.
Thank
I
you.
I finished it last night and I enjoyed it very much. You will be getting a 5-star review from me on that one.
Aw,
Uh,
thank you. That
uh,
was a hard book to write.
I
Because
can imagine it was.
yeah, Hope is me in a lot of ways. She has the same disability I do, which is primary lymphedema. And it's she has gone through everything that she goes through in that book. I did not exaggerate. When I was describing everything that happens to her medically, I did not exaggerate any of that. I sort of compiled my experiences from a couple of different hospital stays into one, but all of those things happened. um and even just the um the like the way that doctors like sort of dismissed her condition and overlooked it and stuff up until it was like at the point of no return where it had completely taken over her entire life. That's what happened to me. Like everybody just kept telling me, oh, it's your weight, lose weight, get weight loss surgery, it'll all go away. And now my leg is the size of a tree trunk. But yeah, I mean, so it was a really hard book to write, but at the same time, kind of cathartic in a way. I eventually kind of want to go back and expand it a little bit more, and show like what her experience is like after, getting out of the hospital, finding the right care team and everything. Because I actually wrote that as part of a collaboration that I spearheaded, and the word count limit on that was 50,000 words. And I cheated a little bit and went a little bit over that, but, I tried to keep it within the word count limit, and I just did not have enough room to completely do justice to the aftermath.
Well, honey, I got to say, you are a survivor. You are one tough woman.
I try. I don't want to, I try not to, think about it and let it get to me too much, but I mean it also I felt like I needed to publish that story and put it out there, because I've actually gotten several messages from people who read it and said thank you so much for highlighting how chronically ill people and how overweight people are treated in the healthcare industry, because I feel like, especially when you have a chronic illness and you're overweight, doctors just kind of want to blame everything on your weight and not really look any further. And I mean, that can be so incredibly harmful. Not just with a condition like what I have, but I'm also diabetic. And it took me a while to get diagnosed as diabetic, because all they saw was that one of the main symptoms of diabetes is rapid weight loss. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, you're losing so much weight, you look great. But in fact, something was very, very wrong. So I don't know. I just felt like it was important to write that and show that, and maybe helps shed a little bit of a light on it.
Well, it's good that you chose to share your story, because so many people are afraid to, so many people are ashamed into keeping it to themselves.
Oh yeah.
And that's just the sad fact of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the way they're treated over it. And it needs, so many things in this world need to be brought to the forefront, and this is just one of them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's funny actually, because I just recently, my dad knows that I write books, but because he doesn't really read romance, he hadn't read any of them yet. I talked to him on Father's Day. We don't get to talk a lot because he's just super busy, but I called him for Father's Day. We ended up talking, and he was like, hey, can you and I ended up getting into a little mini gripe session about Amazon's author copies and how a lot of them will arrive damaged and stuff, and Amazon just doesn't care. And he was like, well, can you send me some of the damaged ones? And I was like, I'm just going to send you damaged books. I'm going to send you good So I sent him a few books, including Patient 247. I sent him that, and then I sent him my 2 sports romances, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So I sent them that, and I put it all together in really nice book box with some merch that I designed and a swag pack and everything. And so his girlfriend was looking through everything, and she said something that kind of resonated with me. And she said, because you have character-driven romances, it drives those issues and those points home more, because people are going to connect with the characters, and it'll make them care about these issues.
Yes, exactly.
So I really hope that that's what happens. I hope that people will read, especially that book, and connect with hope somehow in some way, and it'll make them see people that look different, that are disabled in some way, we're still human beings.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So
I mean, I was just You had me in tears several times. I'll tell you that much.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, good tears. I mean,
like, that's the weirdest thing, because like for a compliment, saying that you made somebody cry, but like that's like the biggest compliment you can give an author.
Yeah, I know, right? And you did. You pulled it off. I'll tell you what. It was like, oh, you're so happy for her, and I know the feeling. Yeah, I've been through some things in life. I'll tell you, we all have, and you know the feeling when you're truly grateful for something.
Mm-hmm.
And at the one part when Hope gets the wheelchair.
Yes.
And he's just amazed at how grateful she was. I felt that, because I remember times when I was just so grateful for something, and I felt that with her.
Yes.
And that's one of the times I was like, you know.
Yeah, something that I didn't get to show. One of the reasons I want to go back and expand it is when I met my doctor that I have now, and she actually looked at me and she saw a person. She looked at my leg and she was like, oh my God, like, yes, we're going to get you help. I'm going to get you set up with home health, occupational therapy to do your lymphedema wrapping, blah, blah, blah. I literally burst into tears in the doctor's office. It was, it was embarrassing, but I was just like, I'm sorry. Just having somebody care. And that, like, that little part where, toward the beginning, when Hope says to Lennon, thank you for caring, like, and he was just like, what kind of hell had she been through that she was actually thanking me for caring about her? But like, so many times, you know, you just, it's an unfortunate fact of life, like, for chronically ill people, that, like, you know, we are so grateful when somebody like takes the time to see us as a human and care about us as a human being.
There are a lot of people, teachers, healthcare workers. I remember one time a domestic relations person, when I was calling about my child support, was just so rude and hateful.
Yes.
Like, how dare I ask this man to pay for his children?
Right? Like,
and I'm like, okay, sorry.
Like, sorry, I'm asking for him to, you know, be a parent.
Exactly. And I think to myself, you have a government job. You're making a lot of money. If you hate it that bad, let somebody else who needs the money have the job.
Right?
You know,
well, and that's how I feel about
where do these people
a lot of doctors
lose their compassion?
Yeah, that's how I feel about a lot of doctors too. It's like, if you didn't want to like help people, then what did you get into the business of helping people?
Exactly. And like I said, and teachers too, when they just get mean. So many people that you think you obviously went into this job with certain intentions.
Yeah.
At what point
do you lose your humanity?
Exactly. And when you have, why don't you leave? When you realize you're no longer interested in doing this job the way you should, why do you not find another job? Why don't you leave it for somebody
if
who wants to do it right?
Like, if you've lost the joy, like, why? And I mean, you know, I get it. We all need money to survive. And I mean, they have a certain skill set, but it's like, I just really feel like, you know, we're all human beings. We're all people. We're all worthy of compassion and love, and like, and kindness. And like, I just feel like that's what Hope really connects with Lennon, and why. And I think it's also why she's like so hesitant to trust him in the beginning, is because, like, oh, he's just a human being being nice to another human being. It doesn't mean more than that, because like, and she's just like, maybe I'm just so desperate for the compassion and the connection.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks she's just grabbing onto something that isn't really there. This guy's just being nice because it's his job.
Exactly.
And she's afraid to believe it could be anything other than that.
Exactly.
Yes, you wrote that just so well.
Mm-hmm.
It was phenomenal.
Yep. And I do want to share one more tidbit before I talk about some of my other books, which is Hope's relationship with Peyton was, I mean, it's not complete. Her friendships in that book are fictional, but are kind of a conglomeration of some of the online friendships I've made, especially since I became an author. So Hope's relationship with Peyton in that book very much is inspired by my relationship with my really good friend Katie. She is my proofreader, and when she has time, she also alpha reads for me. But she's my proofreader, and she also always will bounce plot ideas around with me and stuff. And there was this one day where something happened that sort of with another person that we both used to be close with, and everything just imploded, and we were both in tears. It was a really rough day, and I had this takeover that I didn't want to do, but I was like, I can't back out at the last minute. I've got to go and do this party. And I did that game that I posted in the book where, she puts the graphic up and says, and has people fill in that I have a stalker because, then fill it in with predictive text. Everything that happened in that little bit, completely 100% real. The responses.
That was funny.
Oh my gosh, the responses to it, and
the hair braiding. Oh my gosh.
Literally, literally the whole thing, with the voice message and her just barely even able to talk and laughing. I got that voice message from Katie, and she's like, and so yeah, we have a running joke now about Jimmy the scam guy and his grandma.
Yeah, I almost woke the house up in the middle of the night laughing at that part.
Oh my gosh, yes. But yeah, 100% accurate, including and it was so funny because maybe it's not that funny, out of context, but it's just that particular day, we both just needed something to laugh at, and we were dying, and it was exactly what we needed in that moment. And so it's sort of the same thing with Peyton, where she's something to laugh at because she is scared out of her mind and needed something to laugh at, and she gets that and she gets that message, and it's just the thing that she needs to do that. So and I do eventually actually plan on writing Peyton's story with Noah. I was actually going to do it this year, but she just did not want to talk to me this year. And with content like that, with domestic violence and stuff, I can't, if those characters aren't speaking to me, I've got to wait until they do, because I do not want to do it wrong.
Yes, I understand that. That's a hard right there.
Oh yeah, but Noah is going to be the hero that she needs, and Mike is going to come to he's going to get what's coming to him.
Oh, good.
Yes.
So I like hearing that.
Yeah.
Nina wants to know, do you have any unique or quirky writing habits?
I mean, I've got to listen to my music when I write. I literally can't write unless I've got music playing, which has happened on some which is some funny stuff, because usually what I'll do is I'll put my iPod. Yes, I still have an iPod. I'll put it on shuffle and just listen to whatever comes on. I remember a few times in the middle of writing some very steamy scenes, really inappropriate songs came on. I think one of the best ones, which also made me feel gross and dirty, was my dad is a jazz musician. And he's got some CDs out, and so I have his music on my iPod. I'm in the middle of writing. I am in the middle of writing this like a really like steamy BJ scene, and like I was sort of just vibing with the music and not really paying attention to what was playing, and all of a sudden it like breaks through my brain that it's my dad singing the song Moon Dance. And oh my god, I felt like I needed to go take a full soapwood shower. It was awful. And then another time, I am a nerd. Okay, I have to put that out there. I'm a nerd. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the movie Repo the Genetic Opera. But
I have.
Okay, so the guys that wrote the music for that, they have this project called American Murder Song. It's ballads of murder and mayhem. And the first 4 albums are like supposed to be like from this I think it's from 1816. I believe like the year 1816. And there's this one song where it's like this band of like it's like this band of murderers that are like going around and like they're trying to like drink and find people to kill and stuff, and this song goes, and the chorus goes, "Where's the goddamn bar? There's killing in me yet." And again, during a steamy scene that I'm writing, that song decides it's gonna start playing. Like, oh, this is what I need right now. Next. So yeah, that's pretty much the only weird or quirky writing habit I have is just like listening to music. I've tried since then, since the mishaps with my shuffle button. I do have like really long playlists for all of my books, so like I try to keep it like where I'm listening to the songs from the playlists. But sometimes like sometimes I almost get sick of those and I just need something fresh to like kickstart my mind, and that's when the hilarity ensues.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Good stories. So, do you have any works in progress?
Well, I have decided that I'm going to switch gears a little bit. So I have had in my mind this mafia romance, like that's rattling around in my brain, and I eventually wanted to write it. Like I knew I was going to write it eventually, but I also, as I said before, I also edit, and I actually edit for one author who writes exclusively mafia romance. So I was trying to wait at least until she was done with her Italian mafia stories, because I didn't want to accidentally like have her stuff, like her style or her stories or whatever, like bleed into what I was thinking of for my story. And her name's Lillian Harris, by the way. Go read all of her books. They're absolutely incredible. I'm so honored that she trusts me to edit them. But now that she's finally started on her Irish mob series and we're done with the Italians, I feel like I'm safe enough that I can go and write mine. And honestly, like I was supposed to be writing the second book in a rock star romance duet where the first book is the parents and then the next one is their daughter. I was supposed to be writing that. I have it all plotted out. I'm really happy with the plot and everything. And every time I sat down to write, just crickets. Like, like it just wasn't happening. And the only thing that was speaking to me was this mafia story. So I've decided, you know what? I am just going to switch gears and I'm going to do it. So I'm almost done plotting it out, and then I'm going to start writing it. I'm super excited. It's probably going to be a trilogy. Might end up being 4 books. I don't know yet. It depends on what other characters decide they want to talk to me once I get into it. But I'm super, super excited about it. And I actually had an author friend. There is a model named, I'm going to butcher his last name, and I'm very sorry, Dan Rengering, he is an amazing a cover model. He's also a police officer, and he does that's his day job. And he's a super nice guy. And it was on my author bucket list that one day I wanted to have him on one of my covers. And my friend, Catherine L. Evans, had this photo of him that she had bought, and she wasn't using it anymore. And she so graciously gave it to me, like just gave it to me. And I'm
Girl.
yes, I literally, like, I was shaking and like close to tears. I was so happy. And I've just recently finished making the cover, because that's my version of Pinterest mood boards. I've got to have my cover made before I can start the story. So I guess that's another quirky habit, is I make the cover before I start writing the story. But I'm so excited to share it with everybody. But I'm keeping it to myself right now. I don't want to jinx the mojo by saying too much, but I'll tell you this much. The first book, it's weird because I write cinnamon roll heroes. Like, that's my trademark thing that I do. So he's still a cinnamon roll hero. He's just also, you hurt her and you are going to die now. So he's like super sweet and tender with her, but he's also, this like ruthless mafia boss.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
But so the story, though, I'm so excited to start writing it, even though it's gonna be heartbreaking and like heart stopping at the same time. She is his high school sweetheart, who, when she was 17, she was abducted and trafficked. 10 years later, she's been, bought and sold all over the world. She finally comes back to New York City. And like, she doesn't even realize where she is until like they're getting off the boat out of the shipping container, and she sees the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm back in New York. And so she ends up being able to escape. Like, there's this, and she almost kind of has to, because there's this guy who, bought her for the night, an hour, whatever, I don't know yet. And he starts to like really like hurt her. And so she defends herself and just runs. Like, she hurts him bad enough that she can get away, but like, she doesn't like kill him. She runs, and she's just like running. She gets to a subway stop. She jumps the turnstile, gets on the train, and rides it to the last stop. She stumbles out and stumbles into this nightclub that Mario owns. And it's like this exclusive nightclub where in the back, most of their money comes from illegal poker tournaments that they run. And so he's in the back, at one of these poker games, and he hears this commotion in the front. And he's like, well, and he says to security, what's going on? They're like, there's this girl. She looks really hurt. And she's begging to use the phone. And so he gets up, and he's like, okay, well, if somebody's hurt, I'm going to see what I can do to help them, maybe. And the second he lays eyes on her, he's like, oh my God, Genesis. And she almost doesn't even recognize her own name, because they changed her name. Because let's just say there's a reason that she specifically was kidnapped.
Aha.
Yeah. I'm not going to say what yet, but there's a reason that it was her specifically. And, obviously now he's found her. He ain't going to let her go.
You're going to leave us hanging there. No.
Yes, I am.
Yes, Nina says, how long does it take you to write a book? And now I want to know, because I want to know when I'm going to get to read this book.
So it really depends, how fast the characters talk. I also write long books. Most of my books are somewhere in the like 90 to 100K range. And my Steel with the Kiss series is even longer, but like, I write long books, so it really depends. Like, I've been able to write a book in like a month before, but I've also had books that I've also had books take, several months. And I'm actually going to be doing something a little different, because when I canceled my pre-order for the Rockstar romance I was supposed to be writing, I forfeited my ability to do pre-orders on Amazon for a year, which Yeah, and like I had canceled things and gotten it reinstated before, so I was like, I'm not going to push my luck. I'm not even going to try to ask them again because next thing I know, they're going to say no, you can't do it anymore ever again because Amazon's really like arbitrary like that.
Yeah, they are.
So I'm going to actually be trying something a little different, which is I'm going to be doing a pre-launch and pre-order on Kickstarter, and then because that way I can still do a pre-order. It'll just be on Kickstarter, and then I'll launch the book like live like normal on Amazon. So I'm really excited also because this is going to be my first Kickstarter. So I'm excited, like just starting to plan that and figuring out like what rewards I'm going to offer and all that.
Well, you better
stuff.
get your butt back on this show to do that because I want to be one of the first to know.
Oh, I will. I certainly will.
Because
I don't want to plan things too far in advance, and then all of a sudden, like if I get writer's block or something, and it's taking me a little bit longer than I thought. But I will most certainly get back on this show and tell you all about it. Maybe even I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe like doing a live, like doing a like going live on Facebook or TikTok or something when my Kickstarter goes live and. Like doing some early bird rewards or something.
Oh, yes, that would be perfect for here. Yes. And, if you, I always like to read the author's books before the show. So if, you would want to slip me a copy early.
Oh, I will absolutely do that. I would love to.
Yay me.
Woo, woo, woo. Yep.
I'm so bad.
Nina's like, Carmen, you're killing me. Just give us the goodies, please, and thank you. I gotta write the book first, Nina. Get the feeling though, like I've got this so like I'm still trying to because I'm plotting this out, and I'm still like there are a couple of plot holes that I'm trying to plug before I actually start writing, because it's one of those things where like. Because there are like moving parts, and there's also going to be things that happen in this book that directly affect another character's book. So like I have to figure out the details of that before I can start writing, so that I don't write myself into a corner that I can't get out of. Especially with I'm not sure if it's going to be the next book or book 3. It depends on what characters talk first. But like. So, because there's going to be one that's like an arranged marriage thing, but the arranged marriage, like the father pulls a bait and switch on her once she gets there to marry his son. Like he's going to pull a bait and switch on her, and then there's a whole thing with that.
Carmen.
That's probably going to be book 2, so don't get too excited about that yet.
So you got me on one side, and Nina on the other. We've got you boxed in here.
I promise you'll be some of the first to know when it happens, and I will put back on. But yeah, so that's what happened. But I just want to talk a little bit about my most recent release, if I'm allowed to.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so this is book 2 in my Game of Love series. Book 1 was Breaking My Silence, which is one of my best-selling books. Everybody seems to love it. But this is Under My Skin, and oh my gosh, I'm horrible at like cameras and like the mirror like thing, because I like. But this is Under My Skin, and this book, oh my gosh. There is so much going on with it. So it's the second book in the series, and it's the first book I actually wrote specifically because somebody loved a side character from book 1 and wanted a story for him. So I had to like come up with this story, and this book it pushed me outside the box in so many ways, because it skirts some tropes that I don't particularly like. There's a secret baby trope, sort of, but not. There's also a fake relationship thing that goes on that I'm not really a huge fan of. But what happens is that my Mr. Braden is a little bit of of a player. And he is also a horn dog. So he ends up sleeping with this girl, and he gets her pregnant, and she has an old phone number for him. So she was trying to get in touch with him and let him know, like, hey, I'm pregnant, and he never got any of the information because his publicist is a flake. And when the girl called the old number, the publicist basically was like, stop calling. We're gonna, like, if you don't stop calling, we're gonna press charges for harassment and blah blah blah. And basically, like, just completely, like, intimidated her into, like, just turning away. And then that girl unfortunately dies from a postpartum infection. And her sister is the one who has to raise the baby. And she is trying, and it's just not happening. Like, it's one of those things where it's like she's fighting this uphill battle. Like, she's pre-med, so she's in school, and she doesn't have reliable childcare or anything else. And her best friend's boyfriend is the quarterback for the local pro football team. And her best friend says, hey, so one of his teammates is looking for a girl to basically pay to be his girlfriend for a little bit, because he's gotten some bad press and just needs to revamp his image. Who's the teammate? The father of the baby. But, like, she thinks that he wanted nothing to do with this kid. So she's, like, trying to keep it from him that it's his kid, while he, like, is starting to fall for her, which is completely new for him because, he's Don Juan. He's not Romeo. But it's heartbreaking and heart-wrenching, and it pushed me outside the box in so many ways. Basically, if I had to write tropes that I wasn't very comfortable with writing, because I don't really like reading them, but it ended up being, it's one of my favorite stories I've ever written, because it just came together so beautifully and so heartbreakingly, and you will cry when you read it. Like, there's a few parts where, like, it's just, like, super intense and awesome and sweet. And it's so sweet seeing him, start to fall for this girl, not knowing who she is. And then when he finally finds out, like, everything that comes with that, especially because the mother of his child died, like, he's like, he feels some type of way about that, obviously. But yeah, anyway, go check this out. It's in KU. And it, like I said, it's one of my favorite stories I've ever written. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that one with us too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to have Carmen, if she will,
Mm-hmm.
put all of her links up on my Facebook page.
Absolutely.
So that after you watch the show, you know where to get all the books.
Yes.
Because you want to get these books. Me and Nina have been slobbering over them all this time.
Yep.
And yeah, you're just great, hon. You are fabulous.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
yes, we'll be driving you crazy for the next one.
Yes, I will definitely let you know once I have some sort of an idea of when I'm going to be doing my pre-order on Kickstarter and everything.
Excellent. Most excellent.
Yes.
And next week, I've got like a free and clear week. So the show's getting a little makeover.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm going to learn how to put up a little beginning scene with music and all that jazz. So,
Ooh.
yeah, somebody's going to help me because I don't understand all that, but we're going to try it and make it all cool and woo-woo. So, and we're going to get our own Facebook page for the show.
Yay.
Too. So, I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah. That's exciting stuff.
So, everybody, tune in tomorrow for Afton. And my brain just went, I do this. How could I forget a name like, okay, Afton. Yes, Afton tomorrow. Nina, pop something on up here for me to see, honey. And this is just Beth being Beth,
Yeah.
brain freeze. So we will be here tomorrow night at 6 p.m. and Saturday morning show as always.
Yay.
Me too. I'm so excited. Nina's excited too. Me and Nina get excited. We do. And so I want to say thank you to my Nina because she keeps me going.
Yeah, thank you, Nina.
And thank you, Carmen, for being such an absolutely wonderful guest. You were
thank
excellent,
you so much for
my
having
darling.
me.
And we will say goodbye. Night, night.
Bye.
See y'all tomorrow.
Say bye, Richard. Bye.
Bye-bye, Richard.
All right.
Squeezy. I want my own squeezy penis.
Oh.